Most people live and die as forgotten shadows, just another name lost in a sea of nobodies. They follow the same tired path their ancestors did, settling for comfort, avoiding risks and fading into obscurity. But you're different. You're here because you refuse to be a footnote in your own bloodline. You have the fire to break the chains of mediocrity and rise above every limit ever imposed on your family's name. This is not about being liked or playing it safe. It's about claiming a legacy so powerful, so unforgettable, that future generations will either worship your name or fear it. Machiavelli didn't write for the faint-hearted, he wrote for those willing to outthink, outwork, and outlast every obstacle, even if those obstacles are their own blood relatives. If you're ready to stop apologizing and start rewriting history, then listen closely. This is your declaration of war against everything that's ever held you back. To begin your journey toward becoming the greatest your bloodline has ever seen you, first need to understand where you come from. Your bloodline is not just a string of names or distant stories. It is a living blueprint shaped by the fears, compromises, and limitations of those who came before you. Most families carry an invisible script passed down through generations, a script written in caution, in survival, and in accepting less than they deserved. Too often, ancestors didn't dominate their circumstances. They merely endured them. They followed rules designed to keep them safe, to avoid conflict, to blend in, rather than stand out. This blueprint was not a plan for greatness, but a pattern of settling a pattern that may still be silently controlling your actions and decisions today. Understanding this inherited story is not about romanticizing your roots or feeling trapped by your past. It's about dissecting it ruthlessly, like a general studying a battlefield before a decisive conquest. Ask yourself, where did your family give up too soon? When did they choose comfort over challenge, obedience over ambition? Who in your lineage died with regrets of dreams never pursued? These questions aren't meant to shame, but to illuminate the weaknesses and emotional chains that have been passed down unknowingly. You owe it to yourself and to those who come after you to burn this blueprint and refuse to follow a path marked by fear and compromise. Machiavelli understood that power is never inherited as a birthright. It is seized, earned, and forged through relentless effort and strategic ruthlessness. Your family gave you a name, but it is you who must give that name meaning. This requires breaking free from the invisible cage of inherited expectations and the mental habits that keep you obedient and small. You weren't born to live quietly within the confines of your ancestors' fears or failures. You were born to reconstruct, to redefine what your family name stands for, starting with destroying the limiting version of yourself that your past created. This process of transformation begins with isolation, not as a punishment, but as a necessary step to detach from old programming. You must cut off every voice that encourages the weaker you to stay small, every expectation rooted in fear and conformity. In this silence, you'll discover that much of what you believed to be wisdom is actually just chains disguised as advice warnings not to get too ambitious, not to stand out, not to upset the status quo. But to rise, you must remember where you come from, not to repeat it, but to destroy it properly. The path ahead demands more than effort. It demands obsession. Greatness doesn't come from doing what's expected or enough. It comes from doing more than anyone around you dares to imagine. While others rest, you build. While they debate, you move. While they wait for signs, you create them. You must sharpen your mind habits and body into weapons. Presence will replace volume. Discipline will replace comfort. And the legacy you build will not be a group project, but a solitary crusade signed with your name alone. With this foundation understood, the next step is to stop seeking permission from others and start building your empire in silence. Let's explore how that mindset shift becomes the catalyst for unstoppable progress. One of the most crippling traps you can fall into is waiting for permission, whether from your family, your community, or even the ghosts of your ancestors. Many people unconsciously seek approval before taking bold steps, fearing judgment or rejection. But greatness is never born from agreement or approval. Machiavelli made it clear that a wise leader must learn to be strategic, even cold when necessary. Being liked is not a prerequisite for power. Being effective is. If you want to rise beyond the ordinary, you must break free from the need to be agreeable. You must decide that results matter more than anyone's opinion. This shift in mindset is the true beginning of your rebellion against mediocrity. It means accepting that some will misunderstand you, some will call you arrogant, and others may even reject you. Let those voices become your armor. Their insults and doubts should fuel your fire, rather than extinguish it. Remember, those who once stood beside you may not be ready for the transformation you are about to undergo, and that's perfectly fine. Your loyalty is no longer to the comfort of familiarity, but to the future you are determined to create. With this newfound freedom, the next critical move is to build silently and strategically. Your legacy will not be crafted in public declarations or endless conversations. It is forged in the quiet hours when others sleep distracted by trivialities or waiting for signs. While they waste time in approval-seeking or complacency, you weaponize every minute. This means committing to relentless work that may go unnoticed for years, moving without explanation, and allowing your results to speak for themselves. Consider the countless leaders and innovators who quietly built empires behind the scenes. Their power came not from seeking applause, but from executing plans with precision and patience. When they finally emerged, their impact was undeniable and awe-inspiring. This is the essence of strategic silence, allowing your progress to create curiosity, envy, and even disbelief among those who doubted you. Building your empire in silence doesn't mean cutting yourself off completely from the world, but it does mean carefully choosing what to reveal and when. Machiavelli advised rulers to mask their true intentions beneath a veneer of virtue and confidence. Your image should be a carefully constructed instrument of power, showing strength without exposing vulnerability, leading with calm assurance, even while calculating your next move. This control over perception is crucial because power is as much about how others see you as it is about what you actually hold. Your name must carry weight before you even enter a room. People should whisper it with a mixture of respect and fear. Becoming that figure requires patience and a relentless focus on creating outcomes that demand attention, not explanations. As you continue on this path, you will face inevitable resistance. Family, friends, and even lovers who cannot comprehend your transformation will try to pull you back. They will accuse you of losing warmth or changing too much. But remember, warmth is a luxury reserved for those who plan on staying comfortable. You are planning on becoming unforgettable. To do this, you must be willing to let go of those who do not support your vision. Your bloodline's next chapter is written by you alone, and it will be a legacy marked not by compromise, but by decisive, often lonely strength. Now that you understand the importance of breaking free from the past, and the necessity of building silently and strategically, it's time to explore how to make your name truly worth remembering, and how to build a legacy that echoes through generations. Making your name worth remembering is the true test of your transformation. Your bloodline gave you a name, but it's empty without the weight you attach to it. Filling that name with power, respect, and even fear is how you carve your place in history. Machiavelli famously advised leaders to appear virtuous, even if they are not, because perception shapes reality. Your reputation becomes a fortress. It is both your shield and your weapon. To build this reputation, You must master the art of controlled exposure. Reveal strength, but hide vulnerability. Show confidence while keeping your true intentions secret. Let people see a version of you that is magnetic yet untouchable. This careful balancing act creates an aura of mystery and power. People will respect and fear what they don't fully understand. When your presence commands attention, when your name sparks whispered conversations filled with awe and envy, you know you've started building a legacy that transcends mere accomplishment. Legacy is not about popularity or approval. It's about influence that outlasts your lifetime. The greatest rulers and strategists didn't just fight battles with swords. They fought them with stories, perception, and narrative control. You must become a myth in motion. That means crafting your image thoughtfully, feeding rumors of your strength, and ensuring that the fear of what you might do is often more powerful than what you actually do. At the same time, your power must be grounded in action, not just image. Your legacy depends on the system structures and people you shape to carry forward your vision. You are no longer just an individual, you are the architect of a dynasty built on strategic silence, calculated moves, and ruthless connection. This leads to one of the most critical skills you must master: ruthless connection. Relationships are rarely simple bonds of affection. In your world, they are transactions of power. Vulnerability invites control, and control lost is often fatal. You must learn to give loyalty and admiration strategically enough to bind people to you, but never so much that they own you. Your attention and validation become scarce resources, increasing your value and influence. As you navigate this complex web of alliances and rivalries, remember that betrayal is inevitable. When it comes, respond swiftly and without emotion. The goal is not to punish, but to maintain dominance. Those who threaten your position must be removed or neutralized before they strike. The legacy you build will not be soft or diluted by comfort or approval. It will be sharp, precise, and unshakable. You are no longer bound by the past, but are writing a new blueprint, a blueprint for power, respect, and immortality in the minds of those who come after you. With this understanding, the final challenge awaits: mastering the delicate balance of fear and respect, of presence and absence, to become truly unforgettable. Mastering the balance between fear and respect is the final key to becoming a force that history cannot erase. Machiavelli famously stated, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This brutal truth highlights that love fades, but fear endures it, creates distance, discipline, and respect that survive beyond fleeting emotions. Those who crave approval often misunderstand legacy as being liked, but the powerful understand legacy as being unavoidable, inescapable, and commanding influence, even when they are gone. Your war is no longer fought on visible battlefields. It is a psychological, invisible war waged through perception dominance and strategic indifference. You rewrite the rules and reshape the game itself. Your presence is not loud, but undeniable. You become so precise, so untouchable, that your strategies are studied and your name whispered with a mix of reverence and resentment. Expect to be misunderstood. Some will call you cold or ruthless. Others will accuse you of lacking empathy. Let them. They don't bear the burden of becoming greater than mere names. They don't feel the sacrifices, the isolation, and the hard choices you make. While the world remembers kindness, it does not remember greatness. You want to be remembered not for being nice, but for changing everything. Your blueprint must outlive you. Build systems, cultivate ideas, and shape people and culture, so your influence moves even in your absence. This legacy is costly. You will lose friends, comfort, sleep, and innocence, but what you gain is immortality in the minds of others. Your name will be the standard that future generations follow or fear. This path is not for the faint-hearted. It demands obsession, discipline, and a willingness to walk alone. But if you embrace this journey, your story will be the one told long after others have faded into obscurity. When they speak your name, it won't just be a word. It will be a signal, a warning, a myth. Now that you understand the magnitude of the legacy you are about to build, the sacrifices it demands, and the power it commands, it's time to reflect on what it truly means to step into this role and how you can begin this transformation today. Stepping into this role means confronting the deepest parts of yourself, the inner slave conditioned to obey, to wait to fit into the mold your bloodline built before you. Most people don't even realize they're chained by these invisible forces, mistaking obedience and comfort for freedom. But true power begins when you break these chains. You weren't born to repeat your ancestors' fears or limitations. You were born to redefine what your family name stands for, to rise beyond the smallness they accepted. This transformation is not painless. It requires a period of isolation, a deliberate detachment from voices and expectations that reinforce the weaker version of you. In this silence, you strip away inherited beliefs disguised as wisdom. Don't get too ambitious. Play it safe. Remember where you come from. Instead of fearing your past, you must remember it clearly to destroy the limits it set. Obsession becomes your ally. Doing just enough won't get you there. You must outwork, outthink, and outlast everyone else. Even when they rest or wait for signs, you create your own signals. Your mind habits and body sharpen into weapons. You don't announce your arrival with noise, you command presence with discipline and focus. This is the lonely path, but it's the only path to lasting greatness. As you shed the old self and build the new, expect resistance. Family, friends, and lovers may accuse you of changing or losing warmth. That warmth belongs to comfort. You are destined for something far greater. Your legacy is not a group project. It is your solitary conquest written and signed with your name alone. Understanding this, the final question remains. Are you ready to step into this role and become the greatest your bloodline has ever seen? Embracing this destiny means accepting that your journey will not be understood by many, and that's the price of true greatness. You will be misunderstood, feared, even hated by those who cling to the safety of the past. But remember, the world doesn't honor those who simply play by the rules. It remembers those who rewrite them. Your willingness to break norms, to take risks others avoid, and to push beyond comfort will set you apart. Power today is rarely about brute force. It's subtle, hidden in the nuances of social interaction, business, and politics. Your battlefield is in boardrooms, relationships, reputations, and whispered conversations behind closed doors. To win, you must master the art of ruthless connection. Unlike most who bond through emotion and vulnerability, you connect through strategy and control. Every relationship becomes a calculated transaction, a negotiation of influence. Give loyalty and admiration sparingly enough to keep others invested, but never so much that they hold power over you. Be warm enough to be trusted, but guarded enough to remain untouchable. This delicate balance will make you indispensable, and feared a force that others must consider before crossing. Inevitably, betrayal will come, it always does. But the mark of the greatest is how they respond swiftly, decisively, without emotion or regret. Betrayal is not personal. It is a test of strength and strategy. Your response must ensure that betraying you is the most dangerous mistake anyone could make. As you solidify your power and reputation, remember that legacy is not built on kindness or approval. It is forged in silence, sacrifice, and relentless focus. It is the systems you create, the culture you shape, and the influence you wield long after you are gone. You were not born to blend in or follow in the footsteps of your ancestors. You were born to reset the course of your bloodline to become a force that shapes history. Now the path is clear. The question remains, will you rise to become the greatest your bloodline has ever seen? Betrayal is an inevitable test on the path to greatness. No matter how carefully you build your empire or how strategic you become, there will always be those who see an opportunity to undermine you. Machiavelli warned that betrayal rarely comes from evil intent, but from shifting interests and circumstances. Your job is to ensure that betraying you feels more dangerous than remaining loyal. When betrayal strikes, you must respond swiftly, decisively, and without emotion. Emotional reactions are weaknesses others can exploit. Instead, your response must be calculated and cold, a clear message that treachery will not be tolerated. This does not mean reckless vengeance, but measured action that neutralizes threats efficiently and permanently. Removing those who endanger your position, whether openly or covertly, is necessary to maintain your power. Similarly, beware of arrogance and overtrust. People who feel they own a piece of your empire or your loyalty become liabilities. Keep your emotional investments shallow and strategic, giving just enough to keep others invested without surrendering control. When someone grows too powerful or begins to see through your masks, distance yourself, or bind them with praise, but always be ready to act before they can strike. This ruthless approach to opposition is not cruelty, it is survival. The world you aim to dominate is one of shifting alliances, hidden agendas, and constant competition. Only those who master the art of decisive response can preserve their legacy and power. Your bloodline's past may have been marked by open battles and visible struggles, but your path is subtler, smarter, and far more ruthless. Understanding how to handle betrayal and opposition prepares you for the final step, ensuring your legacy is not just remembered, but feared and respected across generations. Legacy is more than just what you build during your lifetime. It is the lasting influence you leave behind when you are no longer present. Machiavelli understood that true legacy isn't measured by kindness or popularity, but by the power and fear your name commands long after you're gone. Many confuse being liked with being remembered, but the world admires those who impose order-shape minds and create systems that endure. Your legacy is the invisible force that guides future generations, rules ideas and structures that carry your vision forward. It is the weight of your choices, the loyalty you commanded, and the fear you inspired. This legacy will not be soft or diluted by convenience. It will be sharp, precise, and unshakable. You will become a blueprint others study, a myth others aspire to or dread. To build such a legacy, you must be willing to sacrifice everything: friendship's comfort, innocence, and sleep. The price of immortality in the minds of others is high, but it is the only immortality that matters. Your presence will be felt long after your absence, not through fleeting memories, but through the systems and culture you created. This path is not for the faint-hearted. It requires obsession, discipline, and a relentless vision. But if you embrace it fully, your name will echo through time, spoken not just with memory, but with tension and respect. Now, as you stand on the edge of this transformation, ask yourself, are you ready to become the force your bloodline has been waiting for? Becoming that force means embracing a life defined not by approval or comfort, but by relentless pursuit of your vision. It means walking paths few dare to tread and making sacrifices others shy away from. The road ahead will test your resolve at every turn. You will face loneliness, misunderstanding, and resistance not just from others, but from within yourself. But remember, greatness never comes from playing safe or seeking to please everyone. It comes from those willing to outthink, outwork, and outlast. Your story will not be about fleeting moments of applause, but about the enduring impact you leave on the world and your bloodline. So start today by burning the old blueprint of limitation and mediocrity. Build silently, with discipline and strategy. Control your narrative, master your connections, and prepare to respond decisively to any challenge. Craft a legacy that future generations will not only remember, but revere or fear. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being loved, it's about being unforgettable. If you're ready to stop chasing approval and start building immortality, then take the first step now. Like, subscribe, and share this message only with those who walk the same path, because power is not about the present moment. It's about the legacy you leave behind.